like the I like studying.
Uh-oh. Now, look, now we're being recorded.
Yeah.
Yeah. I went ahead and started the recording because, like I just said on my phone, everything's a little smaller and it's hard to get to, and I lose things. And so
Okay.
when I was
Uh-oh.
able to get, I was able to get to the record button, and I just went ahead and started it, so we didn't have to
Okay.
mess
And
around.
I
So
like
that's
the
okay.
my interest in science is mostly about the planets and how Earth is and the cool stuff that's within the Earth.
Universe.
Oh,
That's what
that's
I like.
cool.
Yeah. I didn't
But
mind the chemistry stuff
we never
though.
got to blow up nothing, or we never got to mix nothing together, and we never got to do none of that.
Oh, I
We
did.
just read books.
We had chemistry lab. In fact, they taught us how to make chlorine gas in one of our classes. We had to wear masks and stuff so
Did you
little.
blow it up?
No, we didn't blow it up, but it's poisonous gas.
It's science. That's one of my favorite subjects also.
So
Look,
Angela,
my
did you
Alexa's
not ever
going
get
off
to
talking
make
about
a
winter camp chat. She a little late, ain't she?
Yep.
A little late.
Angela? Didn't you get to make a volcano?
No, we didn't get to do that, but we did get to drop
No.
magnesium in water and it goes poof.
Nope.
Have you ever
I heard them
experiment?
talking about it, but I didn't get to do it because I think I don't know, I was somewhere else.
We got to suck
Because
eggs
you know how they
into.
had a big room and they have a lot of other arts and crafts going on.
Oh yeah, not in our high school. We even got to suck eggs into a bottle.
What?
That's fun.
What happened to the bottle?
Nothing.
Oh shit.
Nothing happened to the bottle. It just you would just put a hard boiled egg
so
on the mouth of it, and you set the fire inside of whatever it was that was burning, and it would suck up all the air, and it go suck the egg inside the bottle.
Rose, why don't they make pop in glass bottles anymore?
I
No?
have no idea.
No,
Expensive,
Those
I
the
guess.
days, boy.
Well,
Those
you
are
got
the
to
good old
clean them.
days.
So you got to clean them. If you got a glass
Uh,
bottle, and you got to clean them out, and then I mean, sometimes I think some people prefer glass bottles, so that's probably why they still do it. But I think a
I
lot of the
haven't
stuff
seen
is
like my
disposable.
mother used to buy Pepsi. She used to buy Pepsi in a glass. I haven't seen that in years. The only thing I see in a glass bottle is Sunkiss pop.
Yeah,
Yeah.
most
Uh,
of your drinks and your like your mayonnaise and mustard, all of
yeah,
that is all plastic bottle these days. You don't
yeah.
put any of that glass bottles. Except
Miracle Whip
glass.
don't even come. I
Yeah.
get it in a bottle now. I don't get it in a jar anymore. I get it in a bottle.
Well, we used yeah, well we even used to get the oh gosh, like no Miracle, not Miracle Whip, we never used that, but Hellman's mayonnaise came in a glass bottle,
Yeah.
all that kind of
And
stuff.
guess what comes in a plastic bottle now?
No idea.
Jelly.
Oh,
Yeah,
well,
Oh
that
yeah.
doesn't surprise me.
Yes.
His peanut
Well,
butter's been
Yep.
coming in a plastic bottle for a long time now too.
I think
What?
part of that too is weight. So when you think
Yeah.
about how heavy a glass bottle is versus a plastic bottle, and you
Right.
multiply that by a semi truckload,
Mhm.
that probably reduces the amount of weight that or it
And,
increases the amount of weight that they can carry,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
it's more, it
it's more
translates
lightweight.
to probably lower
Yeah.
prices,
And also
And you
because
know
they
what the
can
other
carry
thing I
more.
think is, Roger? I think the other thing is recycling.
No,
well,
that's true. That's true.
the other thing is breakage because you have less breakage, so you have less loss
Right.
of a product that way too. Because if you break a whole case of peanut butter, you lose all that money.
So
I love
talk
peanut
about
butter. I
talk
can eat
about
it.
breakage. I'll tell a quick story, and then I'll have, if Art is willing, I'll have him start us off with a short prayer. But I used to work for the Kellogg Company, and I was the area that I worked in were the snack foods, and so primarily Pop Tarts and Nutri-Grain bars.
Mm-hmm.
And we had a plant in Pikeville, Kentucky, that's down in the hills and hollers of southeastern Kentucky, and there was the road to the plant was very curvy, and one day I came upon it, and there was a semi truck that had overturned that was
Hmm.
full of Pop-Tarts. And all these
What?
Pop-Tarts,
Ah.
Pop-Tart cases were all broken open. And of course, there was a lot of people around scavenging all these Pop-Tarts. And so it was quite a sight to see. But anytime a food truck turns over and like you talk about breakage, it's like, can you imagine the mess? You know,
Yeah.
of all
Yes.
these, like say mayonnaise bottles that are
That would have been a
Yeah.
huge mess.
That would have
that
been an
broke.
awful mess.
Oh, terrible.
So,
Because even years ago, you used to get milk bottles. You know, milk was
Oh,
came
yeah.
in glass bottles
yeah.
too.
I'm too young. I don't know about that, Rose.
Oh, too bad, baby.
right.
Yes,
All right.
milk used to
Roger.
come in glass bottles, and then they switched to what they
Carton.
called
I mean,
well, it wasn't
jugs.
cardboard. It
Plastic
was
jugs.
wax containers. They were kind of like, but they were made of wax. The milk
What?
cartons were
Wax cardboard,
How
yeah.
can you put milk and wax and it don't combine? Yeah.
Well,
but
the wax is,
but the milk used to come in wax containers, like kind of like cardboard containers today, but they were made of
Uh-huh.
wax. Because one year I had
Wow.
to laugh because we used to save them, and then one year for Christmas, my mom had a whole big box of them, wrapped them up as a gift, and gave them to her sister when we were for Christmas one year for her grill.
Wow.
Because they used to use them to start the grill with.
What?
Well, the individual containers in schools, when you got your milk in school, typically it was a little wooden, plastic or wax cardboard container that you tear open.
Mhm.
Yep.
Back when I was in school.
You sound like a radio disc jockey.
Yep.
well, he's got, he is,
You remember
Art,
the wax cardboard containers, Art?
Yeah.
Don,
Art
Don
is-
Oh, that's
remembers-
art.
Don remembers when they were the little glass bottles where they had that little cardboard thing on the top you had to pull
Oh,
off.
yeah.
Yeah, the cardboard.
Uh-huh.
That was the big milk bottles too. Because
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I don't know about that one.
Because we used to get a half dozen. They came in a little a wire carrier, and
Right.
on the corner around the corner from where we used to live on Long Island, they had a little store. It was a dairy store, and we used to bring them over these empties over there, and then we would get the new ones that were all filled, and then we'd carry them home with that wire carrier. They had a half a dozen milk bottles, quart milk bottles.
Well, I think I'm the youngest one on this phone, and I don't know about none of that.
Well, now you're learning. Now
In
you're
fact, we used to
learning.
get milk delivered.
Well,
and
yeah,
they-
back in the
get milk
day.
delivered. We
Yeah.
had milk
At the
delivery at
door?
my house.
Yep.
Don's uncle did that.
The
He
milk
was-
Mhm.
truck.
You know
In
what?
fact,
I
the
lived
house
in
I
this
live
house,
now
and it had
has
a
a
milk.
milk
It
chute.
had a milk chute. Yeah, and I
Right.
didn't know what the milk chute was for. I thought
Right.
it was for
Yeah.
clothes.
Nope.
And they
that's
said no, that was for when the milk used to come, and you would.
Yep.
I'm like,
empty
what?
bottles, yeah. Because
We
it's
left some
kind of
keys
funny
one
when
time in the
we,
milk chute for somebody, and they said, "What's a milk chute?" I said, "It's a little box there by the door at the end of the house." And so
when,
opened it up,
when
and we left
Shirley
the
and I
keys
were
there.
living in Salt Lake, we had one of those off the counter in the kitchen, and it
Mhm.
opens up into the hall. So and the milkman could. It was kind of interesting because on our side, when you opened it up, it had like a little clock-like thing inside, and you can turn it like one would indicate how many you wanted. Like say you
Oh,
wanted
yeah.
2 quarts of milk, and then the other would indicate the product. So that
Mhm.
when the milkman opened the door in the hallway on his end, he could see what you wanted, put the items in there and shut the door. And then when you got up and you opened up that little door, you could take them out and place them on your counter and then put them in the fridge, and and that's
It
how
was free.
No, you'd have
No,
to
no.
pay, but it's where the milkman delivered, because they delivered milk, butter, I don't remember what else.
Cottage cheese.
Cottage cheese, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
All the dairy products.
Yeah, different dairy
I
products.
don't like cottage cheese, and I don't like buttermilk. That's nasty.
Well, but anyway,
All right.
that's how they used years and years
You're on the
ago. That's
record.
how they delivered it to your home.
Wow.
Okay.
Mhm.
So if you hear songs about the milkman, that's what
Yeah.
they're talking about. The guy who came to your home
Or
and
the-
actually delivered milk. Like
Or the
They
joke
also
about-
there's an old Hermit song. He says no milk today. What they're talking about is the woman they used to deliver milk to discontinued her order, so nobody delivered milk to her anymore.
They
Wow.
also delivered orange juice along with the milk.
Yeah, sometimes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Hmm.
You
Oh,
remember
they try
that,
to
that
keep you
little,
healthy, huh?
hey Shirley,
Yep.
you remember that little door that we had in the apartment on the avenues?
I told you that's how I scared Hal.
I know.
Stuck my
She
face.
scared
What
her
did you
boyfriend.
What did she do?
I
Tell
scared
him,
my
Shirley.
boyfriend. I scared my boyfriend one time. He came to see me and he was getting ready to open the door and I opened that little milk thingy and I went boo.
Oh, gee.
And
Did he wet his pants?
He
what
almost
was
fell
unique,
down the
what was unique
stairs.
about that too is that under the
Well,
counter
down the stairs.
it had a little drawer like thing that you put it like, you know, and the janitor, the guy who maintained the apartments, he could open up a door in the hallway and he'd open and take, and that's where you would put your garbage and he'd take your garbage out.
Oh, yeah.
Oh wow. I gotta take mine out to the curb.
Yeah, no, we
Yeah.
had a, you know,
Especially on Monday nights.
yeah. Well, these apartments that Shirley and I lived in used to, because across the road from where we lived was the UNI sugar factory, but before that it was a hospital. And all the doctors lived in, you know, and some of the doctors lived in the apartments where we stayed. And this is, you gotta remember, this is way back, like probably in the 20s. And so because they were, you know, doctors, they had more high class stuff, and so that's why they had the milk chute, they had the janitor would come and collect the garbage. They even had an ironing board that folded up into the wall in the kitchen.
Oh yeah, I've seen that. We used to have one of those.
Yep.
It was no, we had one that looked like a stove, and you pull it out, and then when you get through ironing, you have to let it cool off some type of way because the clothes rolled up into the ironing board some type of way. But it was big
No,
as a
this
stove.
one had, this one was an actual flat board, and you had like a little door, and it opens up, and then it would fold down, and then you would use it, and then you'd fold it back up and close the door up on it.
Okay. Wow.
It was fun.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, Angela, you've learned a lot of history today, haven't you?
Yes, I have. Yes, I have. Look,
How we
I'm the
used to live.
youngest one
How we
on the
used to live.
phone. I'm
What's
the
that?
youngest one on the phone. I think.
Huh?
I think I'm the youngest one on the phone.
You might be. We won't ask your age though, Angela. So,
I'll tell you, I'm not ashamed. Mm-mm.
okay.
I'll
All
be
right.
50.
How old are you?
I'll be 50. I'll be 53 this year.
Good for
Okay.
you.
Anybody else got her beat?
Anybody
I don't
younger
think
than
so.
52 or
So
53?
So I guess you win. Renee's not on the phone today. I know she's younger than you.
Now who's the
Ren-
oldest?
Yeah. Who's the oldest?
Yeah.
That's a good question.
Art?
I'm turning
That is-
80 next week.
Yeah, Art would be
Go
the
on.
oldest then.
How
Who
about,
will be 80 next week?
Art,
Don's
Art
close.
is.
He's
Art will
gonna
be.
80.
wow, 80.
Wow, Art. Okay.
Right.
Don's going to be 81 in August.
I'll be
Okay. So Don will be
Mhm.
older. Okay.
Just a little bit. Just a little bit.
Dot.
and Don's gonna be
Wow.
81, Judy.
Mhm.
All right, Don.
Yeah, he is.
Wow, 81 years, huh?
81. Doesn't
Well,
sound like it, but he is.
No, he doesn't.
Starting to act like it, though.
We won't ask
Wow.
about
And I won't
that.
go any farther with that.
Okay.
Mostly
Well, hey,
'cause
guys.
he's still
Hey,
in the
guys.
apartment.
Let's go ahead and I'm going to do a quick run through of who's with us today again, because Shirley Katzenberger just joined us, but we have
Okay.
Art and Rosemarie, Linda Brown, Donna Judy, Sue Perry, Muriel Walters from Battle Creek, and Angela Harris and myself. So a little bit light crowd. I apologize for getting the notice out late. I've been helping a neighbor. My neighbor just went into assisted living, and so we've been working on some of his items to try to liquidate, and also trying to catch his cats. And so, because we have to rehome a couple of his cats. He had 3,
Oh.
and so in fact I'm going to have to cut the call off a little bit early today, about 2:00, because we're hoping to catch another one and get it to the shelter before they close today. So around 2:00, we need to wind up. But
Okay.
2:00.
I wondered if your cat had an appointment with you.
what's that?
I wondered if the cat had an appointment with you.
Oh,
You know what?
well, we
Art?
hope so. We hope so. This is a very shy cat, and we usually only see it running from one place to another.
Yeah,
And we
I
did,
got one in my neighborhood like that.
and we did catch her one day, and we were able to take her to the vet, and they gave her a feline distemper, feline leukemia shot, but they didn't give her a rabies shot. And so, but
Oh,
fortunately, that if we can catch her, the shelter will take her without the rabies. But
Hmm.
I got
we're a
one
little,
that comes to my porch and eats. I put food out and water out, and when I
Yep.
come back the next day, it's gone.
well, that way may be what happens to this cat, because if we can't
Mhm.
catch her, she's going to become a neighborhood prowler, I think. So,
Oh.
anyways,
Hey, do you go to
anyway,
jail for that? No.
what's that?
You go to jail for that?
No, you don't go to jail for being a cat prowler,
No.
only if you're a human cat prowler.
No, I'm talking about the
Only if
cat.
you're a
Yo,
human
okay.
So, Art, would you mind starting us off with a short prayer for us today?
Okay.
You're so good at
Lord,
that.
we come to you today with stories, with livelihoods, with being in touch with one another and being present in this unusual way. We come to you with history, and we come to you as the God for whom 100 years is but as a watch in the night. And we celebrate your wondrous love and gift to us. We thank you for this day, for the sunshine outside and the warm breezes, and also for one another, the creatures that you have made. And we pray your blessing upon our conversation here this day, that we might honor you and at the same time care and support for one another, for we are made in your name, your image. And so we give you the honor and glory. Amen.
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 Amen. Amen. Thank you, Art.
That
Thank
boy
you.
can pray.
Well, Art
I
is
was
a minister. He is a minister, so
I practiced
Oh,
once or
okay.
twice before.
Okay.
he gets a lot of practice.
Yeah, I
guys,
see.
I was at a Lions collection at our farmers market this morning, so I had to make them, hurry up so I can get to the meeting today.
Hmm.
What were you doing so what kind of a collection were you guys doing? Like a
We do a
glasses
Lions
collection?
collection, and it goes to our sight and hearing fund.
Oh, okay. Is this
So
like a
we're-
white
and
cane? Is this like
Well,
a
kind of like a
white cane
white cane
fundraiser?
candy day fundraiser type thing,
Yeah.
because what we do is we do a monthly one, like now from June probably through September or October, depending on how long the weather holds. And we can do it at our farmers market and collect. And then all that
Nice.
we collect goes into that fund so that we
Nice.
can, help out, like, our different like Bear Lake Camp and all our different projects
Projects.
and stuff. Yeah.
Right.
Oh,
Right.
okay.
Okay. That's a good idea.
So do you give out just a question, do you give out information about your Lions Club to people that come by and donate?
Yes.
Yeah, we have applications if anybody wants to join. We also have information where people can drop off glasses, and then we also provide white cane information. And I can't remember what else we have, and we give out candy.
Mhm.
And
Okay.
so, and basically, we just, and of course, having scuba there is kind of a draw because kids want to pet the dog, people want to pet the
Right.
dog, which is fine.
Right.
But they also always stuff money
Aw.
in our can, so.
Oh,
Mhm.
you
Oh,
got to be careful.
Oh, that's okay. We're good. We're good.
Okay. Okay.
No,
So,
I don't allow nobody to feed him anything, because
Oh.
people sometimes
Yeah.
want to give him like a treat. So I go, nuh-uh, you give that to me and I give it to him, but I will not allow strangers to feed him. No way, no how.
right. Oh, yeah. Well, especially when you can't see what they're giving him, so that's,
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
and that always makes it like one woman wanted to give him a pig's ear today, and I said no.
oh, geez.
Well, at least they're telling you what they're asking
Yeah,
you
most of the
what
times
they're
it's
giving.
just a
Can I
milk
give them a
bone.
so and so? Can I get?
Yeah, most time it's like a milk bone or something like that, and
Right,
he
but
can have
still.
something like that. But I won't give him the pig's ear because I never gave him one before, and I don't want to get sick. So
Well,
What's
he
his
might
name?
choke on it.
his name is Scuba, just like a scuba diver.
Scuba. Oh, not
Well, you
Scooby.
No, he's
Scuba.
Scuba. And you don't call him Scooby-Doo because he's not a Scooby, he's a scuba.
He's a scuba.
I call him
Oh.
Scooby Doo.
Yeah, well, you're different.
You're an
Friends,
exception.
Shirley's privileged.
That's something.
so
It's
so
just like
Angela,
Mike
you've met
Smith allows,
Scuba.
just like
You've
only
met
allow
Scuba.
Mike Smith to call me Rosie. Nobody else is allowed to call me Rosie.
I can call you that.
No, you cannot.
See?
It's Rosemarie. It's
That's right.
Rosemarie.
Rosemary. That's right, Rosemary.
Smile a little smile for me.
There you go. It's your theme song.
Sorry if you guys hear a fire truck.
That's all right.
So a couple of things. So summer camp is coming, and we don't have a lot of we have a few of the Detroit people, but I wonder if anybody has been talking to Carrie about transportation. We had
As far
her
as the summer camp?
as far as summer camp, right?
Well, I don't know.
No, I haven't
Angela.
either, but maybe we should, get her number if we don't have it and give her a call.
I will put it on the notes when I send out the notes from this call.
Okay.
And I did the last time as well, along with the recording. But I did. I don't know if I talked to her or if I just texted with her. But she is relying on people to call her. She is not going to chase people down to find out if they want to ride or not. She wants you to call her. So
Yeah, that's
if you are
okay.
interested, you need to call her and
Call
tell her
Carrie,
that
okay.
you are interested. She has a certain minimum number that she needs, I think, to arrange for the transportation. So, and it could be
Okay.
9. I don't know what that number is exactly now, but it could be 9. And I don't know if anybody else is looking at transportation or not, but I know that she is. And so she's waiting for your call. I haven't checked with her to see if anybody has called, but I just
I want to
want to
ride with her.
emphasize. I just want to emphasize that you need to call her and let her know that you want to that you
Okay.
need a ride.
Yeah. And applications will be going out probably within the next week or so. So people should be
Oh,
getting
good.
those. Also, anybody who is wanting to use the Flix bus, you can get to go to Grand Rapids. It does stop at the Woodland Mall there. And I've been working with the Rockford Lions and they're willing to try to transport people. So if people are doing that, I need to know.
Right. Because and I asked, there's a former Lion from Battle Creek that was a member of the Rockford Lions Club, but he since moved to Wyoming. But he helped bring some folks to winter camp last year. He's he's still a Lion at heart and just hasn't rejoined another club. But he was willing to bring somebody to winter camp last year from Grand Rapids, and so he said he indicated, except for the traffic, apparently the road construction in Grand Rapids is prohibiting like people getting around, and so he said it's a bit of a challenge right now. And Art, maybe you've seen that because you probably go up that way to go to where you're going, right, in Point City.
We typically go up through Lansing and go that way, but we had to drop something off in Grand Rapids at a friend's house coming back a month or so ago, and the construction there was really horrific.
Yeah. So
Wow.
anyway, so that's
Well, I know we
something to
were
be
at
aware of.
at the state convention in Grand Rapids a couple of weeks ago. Wasn't too bad. So
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think a lot of this stuff just started, like June 1st or something, I think a lot of it just got started. So
that's
I've been
possible.
noticing signs.
Summer
I've been noticing a lot of
construction.
signs about that. But
And Roger, if that gentleman is willing, to help, maybe you can ask him and then let me know on that too.
yep.
Anyone we have who's willing to, go from that area, it's so terrible that we don't have public transit that'll
I
go
know.
here anymore.
I know. I
There's
know.
nothing we can do about it because it's.
But they had one where they would pick up everybody, especially in Detroit at one time. They would pick us up at our door and
I
drop
didn't
us
say
back off
anything.
at our door.
Yeah, they folded. That was what the heck was that called? Good,
Got it.
good something. I can't remember what it was called, but
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a bus that, they would stay up here too, I think, and then they would drive people
Yep,
back.
they stayed. Yeah, they did until that Sunday. You're right.
So
Yep.
I think the person that Carrie uses, I think, is Reggie, and I think he
Right,
does
right.
It
pick
is.
you up. I think he
It
does
is.
pick you up and
Yeah, he
take you
picks us
home.
up at the door and drops us
Right.
right back off at the
Yep.
door.
Yeah. So
Uh-huh.
it'd be nice if we had a few other people over in the Detroit area that would be willing to do that. So, but anyway, I'm trying to think. Somebody else brought a group last year.
I offered to drive, Roger. They
to
wouldn't
winter
let me.
camp. They wouldn't.
No.
Well, I mean, maybe maybe they'll make an exception one of these days if they get desperate enough, right?
Well,
Right.
too bad we couldn't borrow the
Uh-huh.
automated van from M City to take us.
Right.
Yeah,
Rose.
that's
Those things
Rose.
are coming.
Is that a
Rose.
driverless van? Driverless?
That
Leslie
would be
said he
cool,
going to
the
London if I
driverless van.
drive.
The driverless van, that would be cool.
That may happen. You never know. That may happen one of these days.
Well,
They
they're
do.
starting in
So-
Detroit, they say.
Yep, they are. But it's still going to have a person with them to start out with.
Start
Because
with,
people
yeah.
still don't feel that safe, but they are.
Mm-hmm. Hey,
But they're
Rose.
starting with the people that
Leslie
are
said
least
he's going to England
technologically
if I
familiar.
drive.
What did you say, Art?
Well, they're starting with the people that are least technologically familiar, the senior citizens and disabled persons who are less
That's
likely to be technologically familiar, and expect them to tell the car or truck wherever to go. And
That's right.
seems like counterproductive to me at the moment. But anyway, that's where they're starting.
Well, but Art, it's not, because I've been to the one in M City. It's really not difficult to work.
Okay, good. Good. And I hope it works out and ultimately be fewer road rage drivers on the road. And anyway, I think the computers are better at driving than we are, and 90% of the time.
Well, they're paying attention, and
Right.
and hopefully, at least what the futuristic look of this all is going to be is that all people will have vehicles that are computerized, and the computers will talk to each other, and they know exactly where you are, how fast you're going, where you need to be. And all you have to do is just, kind of read a book or just relax until it finally gets
Oh,
to your
wow.
destination. And it does
I
everything.
wouldn't
you need
suggest you
to
go to
do.
sleep, though.
No.
No.
And you have to be holding on to the steering wheel at this point.
Right.
Yes.
Well, the one they did in M City, Art, did not have a steering wheel.
What?
Nope,
What?
it was just like a
Wow.
rectangular box. That's all it was, and it had like an iPad mounted, and you just had to tell it where you wanted to, tell the route, or take this route, and it just did everything. It stopped at the stoplight,
Okay.
turned when it was supposed to turn, did everything it was supposed to do.
Wow.
So Rosemarie, why don't you tell us what M City is?
M City is Michigan City, and it's it's in Ann Arbor, and it's where they're doing all the testing of automated vehicles.
Okay.
And back in 2018, just after I got scuba, I went to a conference that was over there, and we all went over to M City and got to ride the shuttle.
Okay.
And then about a year or so later, there was in Ann Arbor again. It was at one of the senior centers. They had an automated vehicle, and they invited us, blind people to come and look at it and give them feedback on it. And at that time, Lion Jack brought me down, and this other gal, Janet, who is also blind, brought the both of us down to look at the vehicle. And
wow.
we looked inside of it, and it did not have a steering wheel. But
wow.
and it had like an emergency knob that you could stop it, but where it was located was inconvenient. So we told them about that, and so we gave them a lot of good feedback about the design of what they were doing.
Well, who actually
Because-
built it?
I'm not sure, to be honest. I don't
Oh,
know.
okay.
Probably a combination of GM and Ford and whomever, because the car manufacturers are the ones working on that stuff. So,
Wow.
because I think they're saying like in 34, 35, I think GM's not going to make motor vehicles any longer. They're only going to make electric vehicles.
Okay.
So
So it's all coming, it's just coming with time.
it takes
With
time.
time, right?
Well, a lot of the cars that are some of the cars that they're working on that are driverless, they oops.
Somebody's phone, that's
They've had some issues with those, and so they're still sort of in a test phase. But
That's right.
I just bought a car recently. It's a 2021 Toyota, and it has a lane centering function.
Yeah.
And
wow.
and before I realized what that was, I was fighting the wheel all the time.
Mhm.
And then I realized that the car itself was making corrections, and I
Right.
was making corrections,
we were
and
fighting
so
the corrections it was making.
we were fighting
Mhm.
against each other. And so one day I we were driving to Ann Arbor where it's relatively straight, so I turned it on, and I didn't let go of the wheel, but I just sort of like put my hands loosely around it, and it literally kept me in the lane, kept me right in the center
Oh
of the lane.
wow.
So it was moving. I mean, it would go one way, and then I could feel it make a correction and go back the other way a little bit, and so it was kind of like, wow,
It was doing exactly
You know
what
they
it
got
was
video
designed
games
to
like
do.
that.
And what's interesting too is that Lion Jack and I rented a vehicle when we went to Montreal. And the silly thing would, because we were going through some construction, so we had to swerve, around different things. And it kept saying, it's time for the driver to take a break, pull over.
Oh my goodness.
Because it thought he was falling asleep.
Right.
Oh, because the car was swerving.
I
We just laughed at it
just
because we had to swerve around the construction.
Right.
It was funny.
Wow.
I just had that happen to me last weekend. We were driving to Cincinnati, and so and I haven't, and I'm not the best at keeping it right in the middle of the road, and so it reminded me that I might want to take a break and a little cup of coffee on the dashboard showing.
Okay. Well, we have the
Wow.
2011 version of that, and it just nudges the wheel a little bit side to side when you're getting outside the lane, and then then it beeps at us if we want it to.
Yep.
But you can feel the wheel pushing a little bit, but it doesn't really do steering back in 2011. But you can feel a little bit of a nudge there.
Yeah, they had a video game like that
Oh,
where
hang
you
on.
could feel the pressure on the wheel it was an actual steering wheel for the video game.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's
And
where
if you-
they're practicing some of these things for driverless vehicles. I think there was a blind guy who was driving a Tesla, or had a Tesla, and he was with his friend, and the Tesla literally drove them to the McDonald's. He didn't even have to do anything.
Yep.
Wow.
And I know that they had done some research in San Francisco with driverless vehicles, and they said there was like 35 accidents involving the driverless vehicle, and only 3 with the vehicle's fault. All the others were other driver error.
Mm.
So, so they're getting there. It's just taking time.
It's coming.
Still in its infancy, though. The technology is still in its infancy.
Well, it's growing, and it's continuing to grow.
Yep.
All right.
But it's not much different than when they came out with the first gas car, and people were
Right.
driving their horses and carriages and buggies and wagons, and they didn't want to give up their horses because they felt they were in more control, blah blah blah. And then within probably I don't know, 10 years or so, everybody was driving cars. So
I seen a horse come down my street a couple days ago. I think it was a police officer on it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, in the city of Detroit? What?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, wow. And they was on I live on a one-way street, but they were going the other way. So I figured it seems like that's illegal.
Well, they're like a pedestrian, so. Yeah.
Right. Right.
But interesting, but yeah, we're taking at least, the first 25 people. If we have more than 25 people apply, we'll work on how to arrange getting people, housed up at camp. But, and we are asking the people, show proof of COVID vaccination still this one last year. And if
Mhm.
things seem to be still settled down by next year, we may not ask that any longer.
I think we're developing immunities as we.
Oh, do they prefer masks? That's, how, because
No,
I'm
we
still
don't-
wearing
you don't-
mine, but I see a lot of people that don't have them.
You
Yeah.
don't have to wear a mask at camp unless you really want to. Otherwise, you don't
Well,
have to.
it's up to you. Okay.
When I was in the hospital, they just asked, "Have you had a COVID shot?" And I said yes, and that's all they wanted.
Yep.
So yeah.
I had all three. I had the regular, the booster, and another booster.
And I think I
Mhm,
had
I
a third
too.
booster as well, and then I had that flu thing because
Oh yeah, I had my flu shot too. Yep.
Yes. So they're getting away from it, which is a good thing.
Well, I think we'll always have a COVID shot.
I do too. I like the flu.
'Cause
I think
gonna-
it's something the
gonna stick around.
government trying to put in a human body. I really do.
I don't think so.
If
Not
it
yet.
if it prevents the disease, I'm all for it.
Yeah.
I
Right
agree
on.
with you.
Mm.
So I just if you might have noticed some feedback a little while ago, I was finally got my computer up and going, and so we were
Okay.
both on for a minute. I left my phone left.
Yeah,
So
okay.
now I'm
I
back.
I
thought
noticed
you were
that
playing
you-
with toys or
I
something.
noticed you joined, and I noticed that you were host. So
Yeah. Right. So we just had Andrea Ordaway join us.
hey,
Okay.
Andrea.
No, Andrea.
Hi, Andrea.
Hi.
She's on mute right now.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. How are you doing, Andrea?
Good.
Oh, it's another Andrea.
So
Hoping to go to
Andrea,
camp in August.
pardon?
Hoping to go to camp in August.
Yeah. Well, you should be getting an application in a week or so. So it
Thank
sounds-
you. And the
I want to
application
go,
is there a pack
Roger.
list
I
too?
want to go.
Hold on.
They have your name,
Yeah.
Angela.
Okay.
Pretty sure they
Is
have
there-
your name. So
Is there a pack list in the stuff for camp?
there should be, yes. There is. There always is.
A
In fact,
camp list? You mean
Pack
like
list.
A
of
pack
people who want
What
to
to
go?
bring?
Yeah.
list. A packing list. I
Oh,
think.
well, when you get your
What you should bring.
when you get your application, it tells you what to bring.
Okay.
Just
So-
bring yourself and clothes to wear. That's all you need.
Yeah.
Well,
And your
well,
sleeping bag and your
Yeah.
bag of laughs.
You brag
and,
about
and if you want, basically a pillow, a sheet, and a sleeping bag is good enough. And
The-
your own towels, washcloths, toiletries,
Oh,
soap, that kind of
Roger.
stuff.
Do we have to bring, which I'm probably going to bring anyway. Do we have to bring Lysol?
No, not unless
Lysol.
you want to.
What
No reason for
do
it.
you want to bring Lysol for?
I mean,
Sanitary bed?
somebody was talking about bed bugs one year.
Oh,
Oh, not a
But
summer
what I
camp.
do is I spray it on my bed, then I put the sheet on, then I put my sleeping bag on the sheet.
I guess Angela, if you want to do that, you'll probably have to bring your own Lysol.
Oh yeah. I was gonna bring my own, yeah.
But I don't know that
But
they
I
recommend.
thought it was a necessity, something we had to bring.
Nope,
Nope.
not
Okay.
for either camp that I know of.
Yep, we've never required that.
Is
Or
it? No,
yeah.
don't say that.
most
Maybe
of that is-
Salvation
is
Army camp
personal
needed that,
personal
but
preference.
there it is.
Okay.
Okay.
Did the
I was
Salvation
skipping-
Army require that?
They don't
Nope.
even have that camp anymore.
They don't have a camp anymore. Nope.
They dropped us.
They
a
was
couple
gonna have
years
it in
ago.
June. Well, they used to have it in June.
That was COVID. That was COVID related, right?
Yeah,
Partly the group, our group was so small that we just weren't fitting anymore. And one of the majors told us that if you can get 50 people, we'll put you back in camp. Well, who knows 50 people that want to go to Salvation Army, because it
Right.
lasts
Yeah.
a week, and a lot of people don't want to commit for that long. So
Well,
that's what happened.
it's harder. I'll give you an example. Down here in Battle Creek, the Lions used to do a deaf and hard of hearing picnic,
And so it was and it was primarily for the deaf and hard of hearing. And they'd done the Bedford area Lions had done this for like 35 years, and it was just sort of like became an institution, a little bit like winter camp. And 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 finally, the last year they did it, there was a support group for the deaf and hard of hearing, and essentially they came to the picnic and said, "Well, we're disbanding, so we're going to give you guys the money that whatever money we have in our treasury for as a thank you for doing this for all these years, but we're not going to be a group anymore." And so with HIPAA and a lot of those things, and with people getting older, it's kind of hard to find people because you can't just go out and say, well, who's deaf and hard of hearing, and can we contact them to tell them about this camp? And it's very difficult to get that kind of information anymore. So, so that ended. I mean, that picnic, that project ended that year pretty much. I think they might have tried to do it another year, but the attendance was less and less. In fact, there were more lions, hearing lions that attended than there were deaf and hard of hearing folks.
Mhm.
So it's just a lot of things are like that. So that's why we want to keep passing the word about winter camp. So we always have people coming to that. So I wanted to I recently attended, and Renee is not here. I think she attended this, but the Visions 2024 event that happened over at the Ann Arbor Public Library.
Okay.
And if you and some of you, I think Rosemarie, you guys might have gone to the Lansing Library event that's probably similar.
Yeah, we went to the Library Without Walls one.
Right. So this is like it's like a technology fair, and they've got like over 20 vendors and these are and some of them are the usual suspects, like the Braille Transcribing Fund, or the Braille Transcribing Group that runs out of the Jackson Prison. They do Braille books. The training center is there, and they have like 2 or 3 different representatives from the training center. They have there's several tables that are manned by University of Michigan students and groups that are doing work with vision. And so now the guy that you've worked with, Rosemarie, I've never met him there, but I met a group of grad students this week, or this when this happened, and I don't have the stuff right in front of me, but this is a group of people that are specifically working with artificial intelligence. And
we had a lot of that presentation at the Library Without Walls too. JJ Meadows did a couple of those, and some other guys did. They were interesting.
So they were one of the things that they showed me was that, and some of you have gone to these presentations like a movie, okay, with an audio description.
All right.
So, right. Several. I know that comes up periodically, that there's going to be a movie and it's going to have audio description, so you can, even though you can't see it, you can understand what's going on. They describe it. Well, one of the things that I thought was interesting that they've been working with is if they have a 360-degree video. So like if you have a video camera and it spins around and it takes a panorama of everything that it sees, they've been trying to work on automatic embedding of audio description of that, of say a video like that.
Cool.
And it's been apparently a little bit of a challenge to because it changes. It's not just like one 2-dimensional scene that they're describing, or action. It's a revolving scene that they're trying to describe.
Well, 3-dimensional too.
Right, 3-dimensional. So that was pretty interesting, and I've got contact information for some of these folks, and they are interested, like the fellow, what's his name, Rosemary, that you work with.
JJ Meadows.
Not JJ, but the guy at U of M that does the studies.
Oh, Anlon. I forget his last name, but it's
yeah, he's
Anlon. Anlon, what? Yeah,
Ann Hong, maybe.
Anhan, yeah.
Yeah, Ann Han, right. So I think they worked with him. But anyway, so apparently they're constantly looking for people that could help them with some of their studies. So
Yes, whenever they have new ones, they always contact me, and I if I can go, I go because they were always fun to do.
so I'll include some of that contact information on when I send this out today, or later today, or whenever I get it put together. But anyway, it was very interesting, and I know that Renee, in fact, I was under a time crunch myself, and I didn't really have time to stay, but I did go to the training center. They had a presentation about all the things that they do at the training center in Kalamazoo, and it was very interesting to get a little bit more in-depth view of what they do and what their programs are. They have a small business incubator. They'll help if you have a small business idea. They'll help you get started with that. Of course, they have like living living while blind. How do you
Basically daily living skills.
Daily living skills, mobility, and so just a whole variety of things. And I finally was able to make direct contact with the guy that's currently the director of the training center, and I gave him some brochures about winter camp, and he had never heard of it, of course. and so I told him a couple of stories about people who had been, and I told him, I said, well, for years I've been trying to get a foothold into your organization and let your people know about winter camp. And there was a lady from I think she's from Ann Arbor, Linda, let's see, Mallory, what's her name? She has a hyphenated name, but she was 75 years old and had just the year before started working with somebody at the training center.
Wow.
Because so this is kind of an unbelievable story, because she had tried to get in contact with them, but for whatever reason somebody said, oh no, you can't do that. That's not something you're qualified for. And so finally she was able to get in. And one of the counselors that she had recommended winter camp. And so they contacted me, and she came. This was probably in 2019, or I think it was in 2019. But when I sat down and when I talked to her, she got really emotional, and she said, this is the first time I've actually been able to actually be with people who are visually impaired, and so that understand my life and what I've gone through for the last 75 years, because she had lived as a blind person in a sighted world and just had to deal with it, and and never had been taught a lot of skills. She just had to figure it out on her own, and and she'd raised 5 kids, and kept a house and done all these things, and but she'd never really been around blind people, and so having got her experience at winter camp, was just really changed. It was really impactful on her life, and I've
You
told
could
that
probably
story.
even teach us some stuff.
Yeah, right.
Right.
But,
Well, that's one thing about all of us, is that when we get together, we can teach each other different things that we learned from different resources or whatever, and it just makes all of our lives better.
right.
That's right.
That's kind of the nice thing about this call, is that we've got some time to talk about things like that. At winter camp you're always so busy, doing everything there is to do. It's difficult to kind of be as a group and talk, kind of kick some of this stuff around. So
I find this call rather
You know, we learn from each other. We learn
Yeah.
a lot from each
Well, and we also, can support each other. If we find out
Yep.
that somebody's having an issue or going to have a surgery, like Judy's had. I mean, you had a foot problem as well, right?
I
Didn't you
had a
have-
broken ankle, and then I have my knee done. I'm going to get my hip done. So I can, just a little
Working way up.
train of
We're gonna
problems.
call you.
Well,
We're gonna call
too,
you
right?
Bionic Judy.
Yep,
So,
the
That's
bionic
right.
woman.
That's right. Well, hopefully, I'm going to be not everything, but seems like I'm working on it.
there you
Yeah.
go.
Thank you guys too, because I know people are praying for me and everything. I appreciate it. I really do.
And those of you who might remember and know Mike Smith,
Mhm.
Yeah.
he recently had some neck surgery and he's still working on recovery. He's having difficulty right now walking, and he's working on getting into a 21-day rehab program to help,
Oh, my.
and help with that. He's got an electronic device he has to wear around his neck 4 hours every day to help the bones to heal. Surgery ended up being much more extensive than what he thought, what they originally thought. So he's in good spirits. He's still doing his radio shows, and he's hanging in there, but there are times he gets depressed. So we, those of us who know him, we give him a call, try
I
to
keep telling Don, you got to call Mike. You got to call Mike, and it's I will, and he doesn't. I said, Don,
yeah,
you
well,
can't treat
that's
your friends this way. You got to keep in touch.
well, anyway, I just wanted to, share with people who knew him that, he's still struggling, but he's got a lot of support and he is working through the issues.
Yeah, poor
Oh.
Mike.
I have Mike's number and address, so I will send him a card on behalf of all of you winter campers. I've had I've never met Michael, but I I've had phone conversation with him, and it was kind of interesting. The day I actually made contact, because his wife's name was on our list, and so I'd been sending stuff to his
Sandy.
wife. And so finally one day I called, I said, to see, hey, were you interested in coming to winter camp? And so I got him, and he goes, well, I'm the one that's blind. I don't know if his wife is or not, but
No, Sandy is not.
and so he goes, well, I'm the one that's blind, and he could, he started telling me about all the things he'd done with the radio show, and he and oh gosh,
Tyrone.
well, Tyrone and Mike Gino,
Yeah,
Oh,
Mike
yeah.
Gino too.
Mike Gino, and so I was hoping that maybe he'd get. I keep sending him information, and so, I've been
He's
hoping.
been
that
at winter camp before. He has been there before.
Oh yeah.
Well, one of the things he shared is that because the driver is Sandy and she can't lay on those bunks anymore, she has a bad back, and
Bad back.
it's
yeah.
hard for her to stay in the dorms,
Right.
overnight that way. So that's one of the reasons they don't come any longer,
Mhm.
I don't know if he's an internet guy, but it'd be nice to have him on these calls.
Well, he is an internet guy. There's no two ways about that.
Well, maybe I'll reach out to him and see if he can join us, because I'm sure he has a lot of stories to tell. And
Oh yeah, Mike would have lots of stories to tell.
maybe while he's in recovery, he'd have time to do that with us.
Well, maybe. But I've
Maybe.
known Mike ever since I started coming to winter camp in 1981. So
Well, he was a very much a regular, like Mike Gino.
yeah,
Yeah.
Mike Smith and
Hmm.
Mike Gino and Tyrone, they were like the three musketeers back in the day.
Right.
There she is.
So yeah, that's but yeah, it's good to keep that heritage alive, keep the legacy alive, I guess, because it kind of helps people understand the significance of winter camp, and it helps me understand, because it's like I have a great passion for this group and this project, and so if you want to call it a project, but
Well, it is because, Arnie Larson used to be the main man back in the day,
yeah, I didn't know Arnie either. I knew I know Paul Helm.
Yeah, Paul was the interim for a little while, but Yeah.
Actually, he did it for 30. Paul was, his aunt was the one that started it.
Oh, so it must have been him and Arnie that
Yeah, probably.
coordinated things
'Cause
together.
he told me quite proudly that he'd done this for 30 years. You know,
I think
doing the
that's great.
doing the mailings and all those things, you
Yeah,
know,
yeah, all the behind the scene things. Yeah.
all the stuff, right? So, but I will tell you that everybody that participated, you know, and last year is no exception, that they, you know, once they're there, they love it and they want to come back, you know, and like the folks that do the four-wheelers, you know,
Yeah.
they really enjoy doing it. And the guy with the horses, he really loves it, you know, and so I hardly have to ask them, you know, they just want to know what date is it, you know. So
Oh, that's
And I'm trying
anyway,
to figure out how many years we've been doing our summer camp because I think the last time before COVID was 25 years. That was our
okay,
25th anniversary.
wow,
And then I think so that would have been like 2018 or 19, I'm not sure.
okay.
But then I don't think we did it I know we didn't do it the next year, and do we not do it for 2 years, I think?
I'm trying to remember a few. I know that we had to go virtual the second year with the winter camp because the camp itself,
Right.
Right.
the incidence of COVID was too high and the school wouldn't, it was above the school's
Well,
threshold.
yeah, and we work
Having
with
an in-person camp,
Pioneer Resources, and it's, that's kind of a similar thing.
right?
So I'm thinking, I know that for at least two of our camps, we had a very small group. Last year was our first really large group again.
Yep,
Good.
So I think we did 2 years with like maybe 9 people.
9 or 10, yeah. Well,
Hmm.
that and part of that was transportation because I don't think you had anybody from the Detroit area.
No, we did not.
So,
It was transportation issues again. And
yep,
I guess, COVID's, fears and some of those kinds of things. But I
right.
think we did 2 years with only a small group, so it would have been our 26, 27. So this might be our 29th year.
Wow, that's good.
Oh,
Great.
So I think next year will be our 30th anniversary.
Wow, that's great. That's great.
Okay.
I'm hoping one of these days I can get over there.
We'd love to have you, Roger.
I'll
Yeah.
still be recovering from my shoulder probably by that time. I know I won't be driving.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
So, well, hey, it's almost 2 o'clock, and I really appreciate everybody calling in. It's a light crowd today. I wasn't surprised because as we get into summer, people have a lot of things going on. So, and it's a beautiful day.
Yes.
By the way, next week is going to be really hot. So it's supposed to be in the 90s. So please,
Yeah, that's what I understand. I know
please
the
take
weather
care of
radio
yourselves.
said Monday 94 to 99 heat
Yeah.
index. So
Mm, yeah.
Make sure you're properly hydrated and not you know, if you can stay inside, it's probably not a bad idea, you know,
Right.
at least during the middle of the day. So hopefully, you know, one thing I love about Michigan, and I wasn't raised here, but one thing I love about Michigan is until you get to August, even in the evening and the morning, usually the nights are cool.
yeah,
Right.
And
I
so,
love about this.
you know,
Mhm.
I think that's just a wonderful thing,
Yeah,
well, one
beautiful
of the things
state.
that I like is living right on Lake Michigan because we get the breezes all the time.
right? Right.
Yeah.
So, well, does anybody before we close? And I did, like I say, I need to go check on this cat trap and see if I've caught a cat. But
Cat patrol, huh?
cat patrol, right? So, is there anything else that anybody wants to bring up or say before we call it a day?
Do we
No,
know
but
anybody that
I
do,
would
do we
just
know anybody that goes
contact
to
Carrie.
Okay, hang on just a minute.
sorry. Do we know anyone that's going to be coming from the Grand Rapids area or that wants to come for
Uh,
summer camp?
Well, I don't know specifically who. I mean, Cheris Austin. Do you know Cheris? I know Rosemarie knows Cheris. she's sort of the coordinator for the blind for the what do you call
Yeah,
it?
for the Grand Rapids groups, because usually that's like Gopal and Joe Stewart and was it Nancy, I think, a couple
Nancy
few,
Martins.
yeah, a couple
Nancy
few
Martin.
people.
Jason Kroll is in Grand Rapids. Dan Bass, has Dan Bass ever been to summer camp?
I don't think so, but I think he's on the list. So
Yeah, he should be on the list. But those are the only ones I know. Shirley? Sorry.
I was just wondering, actually I was asking like around the Lansing area, or like in Char's area, because I know she hasn't been coming because she isn't able to have transportation since
yeah,
the
because she's
bus
in the
doesn't
Jackson
come.
area.
Char
Since the
Rendell.
bus doesn't come, huh?
Char Rendell, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
He was in Jackson.
She's in Jackson,
right.
Yes.
And that's not really near Grand Rapids.
right?
No,
No,
not
it
very
isn't.
close.
But I was
2.5 hours.
Yes.
I was thinking she was having a lot of health problems though. With
no, she's okay.
is she?
She's okay.
That's
Yeah.
Yeah.
good to know. That's good to know.
Yeah, she
Mhm.
came to winter camp last year.
Yeah.
Because my
But
sister
she
lives
doesn't.
in Jackson, and she keeps in touch with another person that knows her, and you know. Anyway,
Yeah,
I think you-
I
transportation
call her every week, so she's pretty good.
well, that's pretty
Yeah.
nice.
but
She's also part of the
transportation,
Jackson Low Vision Group.
yeah.
Yes,
Yes,
she
she is.
is. That's true.
So
Yeah.
transportation from Jackson to Muskegon is difficult because they don't even have the Flix bus over there.
Right.
They
And
don't
I was
have the
looking at my
Flix and
schedule. I can't come this year.
Oh,
We've got
no.
grandkids that week, and so he can't come. That I was hoping to get over there this summer, but we're taking grandkids to our cottage starting the Sunday of summer camp. So I've got that off my schedule, I'm afraid.
okay.
It'd be nice if we could find somebody in Jackson area that would be willing to take people up, at least up to
Mhm.
Grand Rapids, maybe. If we could
Right.
if we could transport somebody from Grand Rapids over there, then at least get them to Grand Rapids.
Well, they might be able to meet the Flix bus in Lansing. I assume the Flix bus goes through Lansing.
It does, yes, because
Yep.
Oh, I
Andrea,
thought she had like a Grass Lake line. Didn't you take her a couple of times, Art?
But
Yeah.
he can't take her this summer because
No,
of
Yeah.
no, I know that, but I was saying I know that B took her a couple of times too, but she doesn't want to do it again. So.
not to summer camp though.
Oh, not summer camp. No, that's true. I'm mixing it up with winter. Sorry.
Yeah, B's taking her to
My
winter camp,
mistake.
but not summer camp.
Art brought her last year, I think, right?
Yes.
Mhm.
Last 2 years.
Winter
Yeah,
camp.
We had a couple that used to come to winter camp, Don and always when I would want to try to remember a name, Don and Rose.
Ain't that the truth?
Don Rose, that was his name. Don
Oh,
Rose.
yeah.
Don Rose and his wife used to come to winter camp, and they would bring Char. Because she would try to take the bus. She tried to take the train and the bus, and she always had difficulties, with connections and things. And so
Yes.
finally, Don just said, "Look, I'll bring her. I live in Napoleon. I'll bring her." So that worked
Right.
out.
Yeah.
And that's worked out pretty well for her since then. And
It would.
appreciate Art that you can do that for her. So because she loves winter camp, she sure does.
Yes. She really does.
She likes summer camp too, but since she can't go, because of transportation, because the bus doesn't go to Muskegon anymore, and
Well,
so it's kind of hard.
So I will put something on. We have like a Facebook page, a couple of Facebook pages for our district Lions in this area, and so I'm going to put something on there. Just say, hey, is there anybody that would be willing to transport a person, from the Jackson area up to Grand Rapids or Lansing? Lansing's not far, really.
No, it's just up the road.
To meet the bus to get to Grand Rapids, but that gets to be a planes, trains, and automobiles kind of a situation, but whatever you got to
And
do.
actually, the Roger, the camp is in Holton, in case people really want to know exactly where the camp is.
Holton?
Yep. So it's about a half hour north of Muskegon.
Right. because when you said Houghton, I'm thinking UP.
No,
Houghton and Hancock, yeah.
Holton, Holton.
Holton, not Houghton. Houghton,
No.
Houghtton.
Hmm.
Holton.
Holton.
So, okay, I will do that, and maybe we can help Char out this year and get her up there. So,
That'd be
Yeah.
cool. She'd be happy about that.
oh yeah. So I'll make a point to do that today. So anyway, well, thank you all again for calling in, and I'll
you.
get the
Yes.
recording processed and send it out. I know David Sterneman was going to be here, but he's either watching softball or playing softball. I'm not sure. He couldn't.
Okay.
He let me know he couldn't be here, but so he's interested in what we talked about. So
Of course.
as
Mhm.
anyway, so again, thanks so much. And next month, let's see. What do you
20th.
think about next month? Is it getting too busy to be doing this call on a Saturday?
In
Yes.
July?
Do you want to skip a month and then
Well,
see.
if we skip a month, then, they'll be after summer camp, so people can decide what they want to do.
So the next one would be the 20th of July. If we go the third Saturday, if we stick to the third Saturday schedule, that'd be 20th of July. And in August, it would be the 17th of August.
Right.
And so if
Don's birthday.
so the summer camp is what, 9, 10, and 11?
Correct.
Yep.
Okay. So if we did the 17th of August, then you'd all have your stories to tell. And
Yeah.
But I'm thinking, I know that I'm going to be somewhat disposed because I'll be about a week and a half after my shoulder surgery. So
Yeah.
unless Kathy's available to do it, she's not been available the last couple of times. So I'm just wondering if we ought to skip July, and unless people have questions, and maybe they need to work out some last minute transportation would be the only reason I would say.
Well, and they can get a hold of Carrie for that.
Yeah.
So,
So
and people can get a hold of me if need be, my
Okay.
name's on and numbers on the application forms.
right. So
And so is Lion Jack, so.
so why don't
And
we?
if people need scholarships from, to get to summer camp for the $35, they can get in contact with Lion Jack about that too.
Let me. So I'll put that in the notes for today, and let's just say we'll we'll adjourn until August 17th, and I should be in pretty good shape by that time, hopefully.
Okay.
Okay, sounds good,
Sounds
Roger.
good.
And
Give me the
happy
month off.
Father's Day to all the gentlemen on the call today. And
That's
also, we'll put you in our prayers, Roger, for your surgery.
All righty, and Judy as well. When you get your
Oh, Judy too. Okay, yep.
to
we'll put both
continue
of them.
healing, and whenever you have your hip done.
I'm not in any hurry. I need it, but I'm not in any.
I
Oh
know.
boy, getting through one thing at a time seems to be an ordeal, but that's
Yep.
okay. I'm doing it.
Well, hey, I'm proud of you for doing that because it's like the longer you wait, the harder it is. So.
That's true. Okay.
Yep. All righty.
Well,
thanks
everybody
again,
have
you
a
all.
good summer.
All righty.
Okay. Blessings, everyone.
Yes.
Thank you, you too.
Yeah.
Have fun with
Bye,
your grandkids.
everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
And good luck with your cat.
Yeah, thank you.
Cat hunting.
Bye.